And hey guys, happy Monday. We have a special guest tonight, Kiana. We actually met each other in the tunnel while waiting for recognition at Summit. When we were dying of heat stroke and thought we would never make it. And so later,
I was a hot, sweaty mess.
Yeah. So we sort of just, decided to ask each other to switch team calls. So I did hers this morning, and she's doing one for us tonight. And so I just wanted to introduce her real quick, and then she'll tell you a bit about herself, and we'll get going with some of our questions for her. But she's a 6-star diamond in the business, 2-time elite. And I think a really fun fact is that, she was pregnant during the year that she was going elite. So crazy lady on, pregnant. I know how exhausted you are and how crazy that can be and how busy you are and still doing that. She's an SE legend. She's been in Success Club for 58 months, and she's a 6-figure earner. She's a mother of 3, and some of you may have seen her at Summit. She was interviewed on stage in the Bridgestone Arena, I believe, telling a little bit about herself there. So without further ado, I'm going to let her sort of tell her story and how she got started, and then we can dig in and ask her some more questions.
Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm fixing this hot mess of a head. Okay, here. Thank you guys for being on the call tonight. I really appreciate you having me. I'll just tell you a little bit about my story, and I'm totally open for questions and answers. I am just really blessed that we can just share our greatest tips and just talk about this business, because really sometimes it may not be something that I said. It just may be the different way that I say it. You may have heard it from someone else 1,000 times, but maybe I say something a little bit differently that resonates with you, which is why it's so cool to have guest speakers on call. So my hope is that you just take a few things from tonight and you think, man, she's no different than me. If she could do it, I could do it. Because I'm telling you right now, I had 0 answers about how to run this business. And let me just tell you a little bit about my story. So I have always been into fitness in the sense that I ran track in college, and then I was a head track coach. I was a high school health teacher actually for 7 years. And then I decided to stay at home with my kids after my first daughter was born. To make a very long story short, but it's important that you know that part of my story. We tried to have kids and we could not have them for 4 years. So when I finally had a child through in vitro, and if you don't know what that is, it's like, let's try to have a baby and let's go all the way to this end. Oh, well, now you have to do in vitro. It's probably the end of the end before you start to adopt. And after 4 years and a lot of losses and some miscarriages and a stillborn, I finally had my daughter. So I was at home after I had asked for my maternity leave or whatever, and it was like, it's time to go back. And 3 months into it, I was like, I can't leave this 12-week-old baby. It took me 4 years to have her. I cannot leave her. So my husband and I made a very hard decision, and I took a $65,000 pay cut because at that particular time, I was working at the top district in the state, and I was a head track coach. And I had a lot of things that I was doing and contributed to my income. I loved my job. Absolutely loved it. And I remember walking in and handing my resignation in, and my principal called me that night and she said, "Are you sure you want to give up this position? We posted your position and there's over 100 applicants in 2 hours." And I was like, oh my gosh. And I left and I cried, but I knew for me it was the best decision that I could make. So fast forward, I'm at home. I now, that was after my first. I did stroller strides, but then I get pregnant again. Okay, so I still haven't gone back. I'm pregnant again with my second. Then I have my baby. Then I have him. They're 22 months apart. And then at about 9 months, when he's 9 months, so I'm still not teaching. I'm still just trying to figure out motherhood. Just still trying to figure out life. I'm trying to go this thing. I was going to jazzercise at 5:30 in the morning and trying to coordinate babysitting so I can get my fees paid for. I would try to babysit once or twice a week. So then I would you babysit downstairs with all the kids, you show up, and then you do your turn with jazzercise. I can't even believe I did jazzercise. It's just so funny right now to even think about that. So I was trying to figure that out because that was more than I wanted to pay. My son was having a hard time me leaving him, so I didn't want to leave him at the gym. And then my friend writes me and she says, I think you should start this program. She was a friend of mine through a mom's group. She's like, I started doing it. It was insanity. And I'm like, what is that? So she tells me all about it. She knows that my fitness background is track, and she thinks I would like it. So someone suggested it. So boom, like I'm up for anything, because I was signed up for these classes that I kept missing. I was paying for them, but I couldn't make it in time with my kids, and I was getting really frustrated because I'd make it like one day, but they were only offered at certain times, and I just couldn't make it. It was either dinner time or like 5:30 in the morning, and it just was a hot mess for me. Like my kids did not do well those times. So I did the insanity. I did 60 days, and I cried, and I was angry, and I like remember on the ground crying during the warm up and going, "You got to be kidding me! This is not." I haven't even started the workout. And I thought I was in shape. But I finished, and I lost 10 pounds and 10 inches. And it was really my last 10 pounds because my son was like 9 months old. I had done a pretty good job of losing most of my weight, but it was just like the toning up that I needed, and I felt amazing. I felt awesome. And I honestly didn't have hardly any friends on Facebook. I remember like when Time Hop comes up and it tells me what I posted, and I go back and look, I literally have like less than 10 likes on some of my stuff. So I literally did not have it. Or I remember being, in fact, the last person of all of my friends. Someone made fun of me. They're like, "Oh, you finally got a Facebook. I can't believe you just got a Facebook." Like I was like refused to even, I did not want to be on social media. I refused it. So I did not have a lot of friends. And I can't tell you the exact number, but I know it was less than probably 100 people on my Facebook account. And so here, you can use this. You want to use my phone? Sorry, I'm phone parenting now. What are you doing? Why are you in here? Why are you watching your show? Here you go. Please go in the other room, okay? Go in the other room and shut the door. Sit on the couch. Sorry, guys. That's how I parent around here. Boom. Boom. Okay. So where was I at? So I did the insanity. What were they saying? Oh. But I decided to post my results on Facebook. Like I was like, felt so amazing. I was like, I'm like, dude, you guys should try this program. I did this program for 60 days. Here's my before and afters. And my friend had kind of said to me, you should be a coach. I'm like, yeah, right. No, I don't want to be a coach. And I can't remember if she said, hey, you should post the results and see who comments or whatever, or if just do it. Because honestly, that was 5 years ago almost. But I did it, and I was like, pleasantly surprised with how many people reached out to me and commented and was like, oh my gosh, what are you doing? Like you look back like what you did in high school or in college, And I was like sitting here one night after like I got like a couple messages, and I was answering, and I was totally doing it for free, just answering people's questions, what I was doing. And I wrote my friend and I was like, is there a referral program? Because I want to make some money off of these insanities that I'm selling, because I keep sending them to beachbody.com. And she's like, yeah, that's what I was talking to you about, being a coach. And I was like, oh, okay, I'll do that, but I'm not going to sell your shake. And that's my exact words. I was like, I know you do that shake. And so that's what I did. I signed up before there was challenge packs. In fact, challenge packs came out in November of 2011, and I signed up in October of 2011, so the month before. I know it sounds weird. I don't know why I remember that, because everyone was freaking out because we didn't know what challenge packs were. And I was like, I remember distinctly telling my coach, I'm going to be the first successful coach that doesn't drink Shakeology, because I'm not a shake person. I don't drink shakes. I'm not going to drink my calories. And she had sent me like a sample like after I had signed up, even like a week into it. And I'm like, she was like, just taste it. And like, honestly, she didn't tell me how to drink it. And so I just put water in it and I mixed it warm. And it was the nastiest thing I ever had. And I was like, I'm not drinking that shake. That's stupid. So I remained a coach, and I stayed active because my husband drank Shakeology for a year before I drank Shakeology, because he had digestive issues, and he's like, looks at the background, he's looking at the ingredients, and he's like, he's always been a shake person. He drinks protein shakes and shakes, and I'm like, how about I order it and you drink it? But it'll just keep me active and you order. So, and so from then on, I didn't really know that I didn't even have the idea that I was going to sign up for a business. I just remember about 4 months into it thinking, I'm selling a few programs. And in fact, I was actually making Success Club, because I've made Success Club every month I know that sounds crazy, since I've been a coach. But I literally was not lying about it. I just would say, yeah, you should, like, here's a challenge pack. This is what it included. They'd ask me about Shakeology. I'd send them a video. I'd talk to them about it. They'd ask me if I, like what I thought. And I said, I don't know. I haven't really tried it yet, but it sounds really good. I know that sounds crazy, but I would never lied to them. Or I'd say, my husband really likes chocolate vegan, or I'd share a story from his story. Does that make sense? So I would never lie. I would never say that it was my most favorite thing in the world. And so I would sell, I would make Success Club 5, Success Club 6 every month. And but I didn't know what Success Club was. My upline wrote me, and she was like, you've made Success Club for 4 months in a row. Like, what are you doing? And I said, I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't even know what Success Club was. I didn't even know anything was worth 2 points. I never even did any trainings. I never did anything because I didn't know. All I know is that I wanted to make some money for extra money for Target. I just wanted to have extra money for Target shopping, and that's what I wanted to do. So about 9 months, it was about 9 or 10 months into the business, I would make a couple $100, then randomly 400, then maybe 50, then 75, then, oh, this month was big because this program came out. Again, not drinking Shakeology. And my husband sat me down. He's like, you really should start drinking Shakeology. Like, you work for a company, like, if you want to make this work. He's like a numbers person. He's like, I've looked at your last trends, and you're actually doing pretty decent with just, and I'm like, oh my gosh, you got to be kidding me. So I just committed to drinking it for 30 days, and I guaranteed myself that I probably wasn't going to stick with it, and I would stop. Well, I drank it for 4.5 years after that, or 4 years, I should say. And so really, that's how I got started. I had no idea that I was going to want to run this as a business or do it. But what happened is about a year into the business, when I started drinking Shakeology, I reached out to my upline is not active in the business, my direct upline. And my team, her upline is not necessarily active either. And my upline's upline sometimes is active. And so I really had to go kind of really high up, and I made excuses for a long time. That the reason that, because I decided that I would, okay, maybe if I try this, I'll make this happen. But I want you to understand that I took me 9 months, 8.5 months to go Emerald, because I had no idea what I was doing. And then from Emerald to Diamond, it took me like, oh no, sorry. It took me a couple months to go Emerald, but it took me 8.5 months to go Diamond, sorry. But at Diamond, I sat there for 18 months because I had no clue what I was doing. Like, I just sat there and I was like, I could sign coaches from a discount, but no builders or anything. So I decided that, maybe I should actually do some trainings and start thinking about this, because like, wow, like, I'm really liking like my challenge groups, and I'm really liking these programs. At this point, I still was not doing any personal development. But then about almost 2 years, like a little over 2 years into the business, I'm in the same position. I haven't moved. I haven't signed any coaches very much. I'm still making Success Club, but I'm not signing any builders. I decided to add personal development. And that is the year that I went from a diamond to a 5-star diamond in the year that I was pregnant in that year. And I had a baby in that same year. So it really was like mind blowing to me that I said to myself, because I'm telling you right now, and I'm telling you very seriously, the year before I had my daughter in 2014, I had her. 2013 in October, I was very close to quitting. I was like, I've been doing this for almost 2 years. I don't see the light at the end of the tunnel. I'm not getting where I want to get. But I still hadn't done personal development because I thought it was a bunch of hogwash. And, I knew what I wanted to do. I just needed to do different things, but not work on myself, obviously. And I committed to myself in the mirror. I said, I was sick and tired of making excuses. I was sick and tired of thinking everyone else was going to be successful. I was sick and tired of thinking that everyone else had the it factor, but I didn't. And I said, you know what? I'm going to put my head down and get to work. And I'm going to do an hour of personal development every single day for 365 days. And I did. And that was the year I went elite. I kid you not. And I laid it out with my team, my 4 coaches that came to the call. or anyone that showed up, and I was like, this is what we're doing. I'm going elite this year, and whoever comes with me, you can come with me or not come with me. I have a couple of you that are halfway to diamond who's going to do this. My runners came with me, and those are my those are my coaches that are still sticking around. And so, yeah, my road to success was not, I did not have 50, 60 Success Club points every month. I said this at Summit, like I'm not a super crazy recruiter, but I'm really about quality over quantity, and I'm consistent. I consistently show up. I consistently share my story, and I consistently work on personal development. And it's really just about being the person that when everyone else wants to quit, you don't, and you keep going. Because like Joan and I were talking about earlier today, it's everyone experiences defeat. Everyone experiences failure. Everyone experiences times where you're like, oh my gosh, nothing's working. The question is are you going to do something about it? Are you going to work on changing things up? Are you going to try something new? Or are you going to just bend over and quit? I hate to say it like that. Okay. And there were many times that I wanted to quit, but ultimately I realized that I had to stop following coaches and put my own blinders on. I had to do my non-negotiable with personal development every single day. I had to post the good, the bad, the ugly. I can't tell you the amount of times that I would clean up my room before I would post. This is before. Like I would move the laundry out of the way. I would wipe the floor, just in that square, the 4-inch square, that I'm like filming. Because I'm like, well, these people are going to judge me, like I would take time to be like, I don't put very much makeup on, clearly, but I would try to like make myself presentable. Like if my daughter was, just whatever, like I tried to fix things. And it dawned on me suddenly that people relate far more to your mess than your perfection. And I can't tell you, I can tell you that time and time again, that the most comments I get on my videos are, I love that you have laundry on your couch. I love that your daughter is walking around with undies screaming in the background. I love that, like you don't have it all together. We can't quite figure out what's going on in your house, but you're still showing up to do this business. That's what I love. And so I was able to connect with women that were like me. And I will tell you this, that Beachbody, yes, I make a great income. Yes, I have an awesome community of team, which is by far like, I just feel so blessed every day. And yes, I have changed my physical appearance. And, I'm cleaning up my nutrition on the inside, drinking Shakeology. But by far, the biggest thing Beachbody has done for me is change the way that I feel about myself. I used to go to bed at night thinking that I never did enough. Like it wasn't good enough. Like I kept trying to figure out what more can I add to my to-do list? Why did I not get this finished? Like, oh my gosh, you failed in this area. Even as a teacher, I'd be like, I should have done this more. I should have done this lesson differently. I should have done this differently. This teacher's doing this. As a mom, it was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that person's wearing cloth diapers. Maybe I need to make all my food. Maybe I need to be all organic. Maybe I need to do all this crap. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And then as a friend, it's like, maybe my house is not clean enough. I don't want my friend to come to my house. So like, it was literally draining. And the biggest thing Beachbody has done for me is give me my sense of what I call freedom. Freedom from self-doubt, freedom from a lack of confidence, freedom to be myself completely. And that there is no money that you can ever place upon that. I am happier than I've ever been. I'm healthier than I've ever been. And let's not pretend. I go through times where I'm like struggling and I'm in like a lull. I was in a lull last week. But instead of sit there in the lull and go, crap, like what am I going to do? Like I'm just going to sit here and woe is me, and all these coaches are signing all these coaches, and I can't believe that I'm not in Success Club. Wasn't in Success Club. Yeah, I'll be honest with you. And oh my gosh, this is happening. Like literally, like I let myself think that I give myself 10 minutes of woe is me. Okay, 10 seconds typically. And I'm like, okay, Kiana, out of your own head, what can you do? Personal development. So I bust out a podcast. I listen to that for an hour, and then I start connecting with people. And that is my secret weapon that I can pull out of my pocket that I never could 4.5 years ago. Instead, when I started having those thoughts before, I would go into a mild depression. I'd get anxious. I'd get frustrated. I'd start to pretend that things were okay and then live my life like I was pretending. And that's not a cool way to live life. You don't want to live life like you're pretending. So by far, this business has completely changed my mindset, and I love paying that forward to other women. So I attract a lot of people that know they have potential, but they just don't know how to tap into that. And so that's what I love about this business, is that I can find those other hot mess moms like me, or just hot mess people that just like, they know they have it, but they just need a little help getting there. So that's a little bit of my story. So I need to stop talking. I'm sorry.
No, you don't need to stop talking at all.
I think it's so sorry. I just realized how long I talked. Jeez, I was like going to talk for 5 minutes, and then I was like, oh.
First of all, she cracks me up, but you're totally fine. And I love that you shared and dug into your story, because I think so many people can relate. I mean, the girl sitting right next to me can relate. She's sitting here going, she's speaking to me. She's speaking to me. I am the mess that knows I can do this. So I think, okay, so that's awesome. We're going to open up to some questions. Is that okay?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay,
Shoot. Go for it.
So you went from being a diamond for almost 2 years to 5-star elite.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so one, you said it was personal development, but what else changed within that, if anything? Two, how did your income change with that? I know some people want to know that. And and what is the personal development that you used?
Okay, so number one question was, what did I do?
Yeah,
I just adopted. I'm like a thinker, and I'm like emotional, and I wear my emotions on my sleeve, and I'm like, oh, what if this person thinks this way, or what if this? So I decided to adapt the badass Kiana, and I decided to get out of my own way, and no matter what, I would go to bed at night knowing that I was good enough, strong enough, capable enough, and I was going to be a 5-star diamond. And I would tell myself that every single night. I would not only just tell myself that, I would think and dream about what it'd be like to walk across the stage when they announced my name. And it was like a fire that lit in my belly. And then I personally reached out to who I felt were my, it is true that 20% of your team will give you the most results. So I worked with the 20% that wanted it. I didn't neglect the 80. I just said, we're on a push for this. And I put them into like a message system. I think I cried my eyes out and said, this is where I'm struggling. What can we do to help each other? I decided that we were all leaders. I wasn't going to lead them. We're going to lead each other. We worked with what we did, pushed things like with our own team. So like, if I knew a couple of my diamonds needed some emeralds, I would do like emerald pushes, like 3-day pushes, like every week. I started doing webinars, all the things that I knew that everyone else was doing. At this time, we didn't have live video, but I'm a very good advocate right now for live video. But I just said, I'm going to do whatever I can. I'm going to try anything and everything, and don't care if I fail. I'm just going to keep trying. So if I posted something and it didn't work, I'm like, all right, that didn't work. I'm going to do another training. Okay, this didn't work. I just was ferocious in my wanting to make a difference and see what would work with my team, because not everyone's going to learn the same way. And so I just tried new things all the time. So that's number one. Number two, I believe my income as a diamond coach was very inconsistent. Like, it might have been, I don't want to give numbers exactly, but let's just say $200 to $600 a week, maybe, let's say, sometimes upwards, higher than that. I remember very distinctly when I was like holding 5-star, I was starting to push towards $1,500 a week. And I remember very distinctly the months, like when I started to go, like when my team started to build leaders. So I had I sponsored 2 personally sponsored elite coaches last year. So on my left leg and my right leg, I had 2 elite coaches, which helps your volume, obviously, right? And so that was really exciting for my team. So from 2 years ago, I started to notice that I was going over 1,000 a week. And then when I helped my team produce elite coaches and star diamonds of my organization, that's when I really started to really tap into that 6-figure mark. So, creating diamonds is something on your team, like star diamonds. Creating diamonds on your team really helps push your income, but creating star diamonds is where the depth is going to happen, is where you're going to really start to see a significant change in your income, just because they actually have teams, and they actually have that volume creating, and it's like a cycle that's all kind of pushing up and cycling. The more diamonds that I help create, or star diamonds in my organization, even the more emeralds. I want you to really think about that. Like, if you can do what I like to call a go green push, where we like try to like look at my organization, I see how many coaches I have that are just one coaches. They could get one more coach. I mean, every emerald coach that you produce is 90 PV. So you need to think about that in a way that not only helps your volume, but helps them understand that they start to cycle, and then they start to produce, and then they start to get excited that maybe they don't even want to be a builder, but they get $14. That's pretty cool, right? It pays for the business fees or something. So I really started to break down. I started to really dig deep into learning what, like, I'm not great at all, but you guys, I was like a 3-star diamond, and I had this is embarrassing, like, maybe a 2-star. And I didn't know the difference between team volume and personal volume. And I didn't know the difference. Like, if someone would ask me, like, how I, like what happens if you place someone here, and I just didn't understand it. So I was very open and said, I don't know that answer, but I'll get it for you. I kind of had to grow push myself, because I had a coach that was like growing right alongside me. Like, I was 2-star, then 3-star, then 4-star, then 5-star, then she was 5-star, and then I was 6-star, and then she was 7-star, and I was like, okay, I got to help this person. You know what I mean? So that, and then I don't remember your third question. What was your third? So you said about the income.
What did you use for PD?
I honestly, I do use books. I mean, I have this sitting right here. Obviously, we've all heard of this probably, the Compound Effect, but I did You Are a Badass, the Compound Effect, the Invaluable Laws, the Leadership, Invaluable Laws Leadership, I think it's called that. Anything by John Maxwell. I have them all over here. I'll just look at my shelf. That's all PD that I've bought over the last couple years, because that's how important it is to me. But I will tell you this, that as a busy mom, I just don't have the time. I want you to understand that, like, I don't like it that people put a time frame on, 10 minutes a day of personal development, because I'm going to be honest with you, 10 minutes did nothing. It did not even scratch the surface of getting me to be a motivated person, because I was so hard on myself that 10 minutes was a bunch of crap. And I tried it for like a week, and I was like, this did nothing. So my big thing for you guys is to do, what's the amount of personal development that you need until you feel like a badass, until you feel confident enough that you can start inviting people and talking to people. And sometimes it's 2 hours a day. So how did I get that in? I put headphones in, and I folded the laundry. And when I was walking my kids to the bus stop, one thing was in. And when I'm walking my kids back from the bus stop, and when I'm in the car, and when I'm doing the dishes, and when I'm walking around my house, and I decided for a long time to turn off my workout and my workout sound and do personal development during the whole time. Like, I literally needed it that much. I needed it to leach into my system to know without a doubt that it's going to change my life, because at this particular moment in my life, I needed nothing else but personal development and the confidence to realize that I was capable enough and build that foundation of belief, because that's really all it is. You have the same exact capabilities of me. It's just your foundation is rocky. And that's the difference, is that I always tell my team that we all have these buildings, these skyscrapers that are growing and building as we build this business. What's your foundation built on? If it's built on sand, if it's like where you're kind of like wavering in your personal development, you do it sometimes, it's going to start to crumble. If it's built on, what you want is where you have basements that's deep, deep, deep rooted into the soul, into the ground, where you are so strong with your personal development that your days that you have crappy days and you have sucky days, it's all right. We have crappy and sucky days. We're going to let ourselves have those moments, and then we're going to move forward and see what we can do about it. And that's the main thing, is that you don't let those things derail you. So I would say my podcasts are my number one things that I listen to. I listen to The School of Greatness, without a doubt, every single day, by Lewis Howes. He is amazing. If I had my phone, I could give you the other ones, because my daughter just took it, but there's a new one called, what's it called? Gosh, it's going to irritate me now. I listen to it every day. It's so good. And how do I not remember it? I don't know. Soul Fired CEO. I think that's what it's called. Soul Fired CEO. I listen to Chalene Johnson. I listen to this thing called It's like 5 minutes a day. It's a motivational one. I will give a screenshot to Joan, and she will post it on your team page of my podcast. How about that? Because I cannot remember them right now. But I listen to them all the time. I also listen to like business ones that I've added, like the Network Marketing Pro, just ones that I like. And I listen to a couple of them. Like if I don't like them, I delete them. But I'm always trying to find new things. I obviously listen to Shakeology podcasts whenever the new ones come out. I do all of the national wake-up calls on podcasts because honestly, well, like this morning was rare. I actually listened to it live, but I usually make a goal for myself to listen to it by that night. But it's usually on podcast just because I just can't seem to get it together enough to sit there. I hope that answered your question.
It did.
Okay.
Okay. So having been through sort of like the path that you went down to get to where you are and everything and looking back, I think we realized what your biggest struggle was, which was not believing in yourself and how you took care of that. But what would you give for advice to another coach, to a brand new coach? What is your best piece of advice?
Oh my goodness. Put me on the spot, huh? Don't follow any top 10 coaches. That's like, whatever, are you kidding me? Just don't follow coaches. Like, really, this is your business. I know that sounds crazy, but like, I remember spending, I kid you not, like 3 hours following this person shall remain nameless. And I literally gave myself anxiety because I was like, I can't do that. Are you kidding me? How does she do that? I posted that and I got 2 likes. She got 376. What a bitch, you know? I'm like, whatever. And I was like, what does she have that I don't have? So really putting your blinders on, obviously doing your non-negotiable personal development, but really just okay. So here is what a lot of my team, it's so hard because I could say make Success Club non-negotiable. We all know that. Like, but I think I'm going to give you something a little bit, hopefully, that you maybe it's like it's simple, but we don't really think about. So one of the biggest things that I tell my coaches is you've got to turn your conversations into invites. I have all these people that are thinking they're having all these conversations with people like, hey girl, how are you? I love that dress. Like how you doing, boo? And they're like, yeah, I'm doing good. This is great, you know? And then it's like,
you do.
How's your hair? What'd you eat for dinner? No, let's not do that. Okay. So it's just like literally you have to if you are not turning your conversations into invites, you are not inviting. So there's a whole separate thing, what we call reach outs, or what I think Joan calls, like a hey girl messages, which I think are critical to start to keeping your business going. But then there's the other side of it where it's like, and Joan talked about this today, where I still sometimes feel uncomfortable, but I got to do it anyhow, which is inviting. And it just depends on where you're at in the conversation and what you're doing. And here's the thing. Please understand this. My next tip. There is no script that's going to come out of your mouth better than your voice when you use a voice message. So I teach my team to use the first 30 seconds of their voice message, because it's a minute. So you got to get it done in a minute. First 30 seconds of just saying, like asking questions about them, like responding to the questions about themselves or mentioning something about their profile or whatever, and then ending it with a question that they can continue on. But your voice shows a lot of your passion. And that is something that when people trust you, when people like value you and trust you, when they hear your voice and they understand your passion, they know, like, and trust you. And when they get that feeling, it doesn't matter what you say, they're gonna be like, yeah, I'm in, I want to do that. So I do a lot of my invites to make them personable through voice messaging. It makes it faster, makes it easier. But you've got to turn your invites and you got to turn your conversations into invites. So go back and look at like your last 15 conversations. How many of them were actual invites? The opportunity to a free group, to a challenge group. Maybe it's an invite to get them on the phone or have a conversation or do something. But you've got to turn your conversations into invites. And then I think another thing is just be curious about learning. Like, don't just like assume that you can just, okay, I shouldn't say that. I have to be nice. Okay. So don't just assume that like there's not a right or wrong way to talk to people. So just be yourself. Like if you're talking to someone next to you, like that's awesome. But don't just assume that like everyone's going to give you all these answers. So like, meaning like it's confusing sometimes in the beginning. You have a lot of things you need to know. So just be curious and learn 3 new things about the business every day. Go to the back office, click on something and be like, hey, this is awesome. I learned this. And here's the next step. You hear me? I'm going to yell at you guys. You hear me? The next step is this, is not only learn them, post it in your team page and be like, hey guys, I just learned this today, because not only are you being a lifelong learner and you're learning and growing for your business, now you're being a leader because you're showing up in the page and people are going to come to you as a leader. When people start coming to you as a leader, what happens? Oh, all of a sudden you believe that you're a leader. Okay, so you have got to make the steps to be a 5-star diamond, to be a 10-star diamond, to be an elite coach before you actually get there. But part of that is doing the things you know that you see the leaders do, that you look up to. Just start doing them. No one's giving you permission to start being a leader. You don't have to ask for permission. You don't have to like say, hey, Joan, like, is it okay? Okay, maybe she would, but is it okay if I post about this? Like, no, I'm like, I love it when my team like posts about personal development and they share something that they posted about. Or, you know, like if you have like live opportunity calls, or if you have like things that your team are doing as a team, you better volunteer all the time. I start calling people out and tagging people and being like, you said you wanted to do this. Are you going to do this? Like who's with me? Who's going to be with this? Because we do live opportunity calls once a month where I get new coaches on the call and they have to share their story, and we do go off a script, and I do a whole thing, and they're like scared. But they are so proud of themselves at the end because they did it. They actually did it, and our team showed up and we supported them. So that they have to sign up for that. And then I'm always asking people to like share their personal development. Some people have to sign up for that, or just like share their tips or takeaways, because I'm tired of being the leader sometimes, people. Okay. I want to do it, but I know that Joan wants you to do it too. So step it up. If you like really took a look at your activities the last month and said, how many times have I stepped out of the box to be a leader? If it's 0, that's probably why you are where you are. So you need to ask yourself, what are you doing to make yourself a leader that pushes you outside of that comfort zone? And it wasn't until I decided to do that, like 2 years into the business, that I was like, I'm not asking anyone's permission to be a freaking elite coach or a diamond coach or a 5-star. I'm just going to start pretending that I have all these people coming to me. So when I had a challenge group and I was posting about it, I was like, my challenge groups fill up so fast. I have 5 spots left. Guess what? They didn't fill up fast, but I didn't care because I was showing people that they did. Call it a lie, call it a fib, call it a belief system. I don't know. Maybe a little bit on the edge, but I did it. And it's the same thing, like any type of recognition, I shout out to the moon when I was just like 2 coaches. If it was me and 2 coaches, you got to coddle those people. You got to love on those people. You got to let them know that they're doing great because it's you and 2, you plus 2. That's awesome. I think people forget the smaller picture and focus on the small wins. Like it's like, you want always the next step. So you get to emerald, it's like, oh, I want to get to diamond now. And then you get to diamond, it's like, oh, I want to get to star diamond. And I get that because that's how this business is. I understand that. But are you focusing on what you're doing right, not on everything you're doing wrong? Are you giving props to the people that are doing things right on your team, in your life, the people around you in this business? Or are you focusing on all the crap that you think that's going on between your head? Because I like to do the latter sometimes, and I have to really focus on that. So you got to turn your conversations into invites, and you got to be the leader that you know you are, that you can be, sometimes pretending before you actually feel it. Because, the feeling of being a leader doesn't come from just sitting there. It comes from actually doing stuff. Actually, same thing with working out. I don't want to work out half the time, but I get up and I do it, and it makes me feel like a badass. It's the same thing. You're going to get up and do it. You're going to read books about leadership. I'm telling you right now, the personal development that you should be doing is where you struggle. What do you struggle with? Do you struggle with invites? Do you struggle with like belief system? You should be doing podcasts about confidence. Like, what do you struggle with? You should be doing podcasts, and you should be doing them so much to the point where like you get excited and you can make a post about something that you learned about or something that you can apply about. That's how I ran my day for like literally 2 years.
Amazing. I love that answer. And honestly, when you sat there and said, put your blinders on and unfollow the coaches, I mean, seriously, unfollow the coaches, because I will tell you that year 1 in this business, when I built my business super quickly and popped a bunch of diamonds super quickly and like was just growing like mad and went elite, I didn't even know who the top coaches' names were. I didn't. The next year, I spent way too much time looking at so-and-so's post and being like, oh, maybe I should post like that, or maybe I should do this, or maybe I should do that. And it gets in your head too, and it makes you start thinking that you're not a good enough coach. And it also can get in your head and make you start thinking, oh my God, all the posts in my newsfeed are coaches, which means I guess the market's saturated now. So, and honestly, you're not getting that view of the other people outside of this business. You're not allowing yourself to have a timeline that's filled with, or a newsfeed that's filled with a bunch of people who are non-coaches that you can like and comment on their stuff. Hello. She's so cute.
She lost my phone.
Last question, and then we're gonna let you go.
Lost my phone.
She lost her phone.
I don't know. Whatever. Happens to me like 30 times a day. I'm just like, oh my gosh, seriously. Okay. Oh, there you go. Okay, what do you want? What do you want? Okay, ask the next question.
Okay. Next question. Oh, she's got a really cute card. The next question is, how do you find builders?
Oh my gosh. Seriously, the $1 million question. I buy them. I pay for them. Just kidding. Hold on. What?
I found it.
What did you find? Okay, did you, hey, you want to watch PJ Masks? Okay, this is not a reflection of, I swear, not that it matters. Not that I care, because I've done a really good job of not learning not to care anymore, but I do have my work hours, and I have a whole nother call I do about like redefining your own success and focusing on what matters to you and focusing on your priorities. And so I worked my butt off and worked hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and never slept. And I worked like 4 hours a night. And I felt like my family suffered. And so I really had to readjust the sales. And so I still readjusted, and I'm still trying to figure that out. But you can have it all. You can be a successful business owner. You can be a, whatever it means, like for you to be a better mom or the best mom that you can be, and put your husband first and do the best you can. You just got to make sure you keep your priorities in line. And that's one of the hardest things that's been for me, but I'm working on it, and I'm really proud of making sure I have a date night every night, every week. Every night would be nice. And making sure that I get up at 5:15 in the morning so that I can take my kids to the bus. You know what I mean? Anyhow, that was random. Okay, so how do I find builders? What do you want? I don't know what you want. You want a color? Okay, here you go. Here, use this. No, I'm sorry, guys. Hold on one second.
It wasn't random. I actually think that's the
Where's your pen? Where's the piece of paper?
It's like this happened.
I don't have a pen. Right here. Color right here. Draw me a flower. Can you draw me a flower? Here. Okay.
This question.
I'm just gonna be honest. I am not I think that's an area. Okay, so it's one of my weaker areas. Someone just called me on this. Like, one of my coaches was like, quit saying it's your weakness. You have me as your coach, and you have all these other diamonds. So quit saying. I think that we put ourselves in
underneath you.
comparison mode where we're like, oh my gosh, that person signs this many coaches. So here's what I'm telling you is I don't sign a ton of coaches, but my builders stick around because I am very realistic with them from the beginning. And I feel like I've created a community that I'm just going to lay it on the line, and hopefully I'm not calling anyone out in the sense of my upline, but I felt very disconnected when I came into this business, and I felt there's a lot of things going on. Not at the fault of any person, except that they weren't trained very well. And then, not that that matters, okay, because I know uplines are very different, but I never felt like that community. Like I was part of this team page that was so discombobulated that I felt there was lack of support. People would comment and they'd get 0 likes, and it was like, what is going on in here? So I prided myself. I just said, I want to create the atmosphere that everyone matters. No matter you're a business builder, a discount coach, I try to provide different opportunities for all of my coaches. And so my answer to that is this, Joan, and I know that some people are very hardcore in this. Like, I attract business builders, and that's just who I attract, but I don't. I attract hot mess people that like need help. They get it together. We work on their confidence, and then they're rock stars. That's pretty much who I attract. That being said, like, I think I've done a pretty good job of when a coach comes into the business as a discount coach or a sometimes coach, or maybe they don't know they're a business builder, but I do know that they are. They just don't know it. I make sure that they feel like part of the community on my team, and I make sure that they have a place where they feel supported. So, for example, I know the last of the year, I'm just going to give an example, and I'm just proud of myself because this is me trying to be a better leader. And I didn't do anything like this last year. So as a leader, you guys, it's really hard to try to feel like to meet all your coaches' needs. It's like, do I just work with the coaches that are just want to be diamond and above? And then obviously spend my time with those people? Yes. But I don't want to stop the relationships with the other people. And so it's been really hard for me. So I decided to do a fourth quarter. I decided to do a fourth quarter push, which is pretty common. Like, I'm doing a Rise to Diamond group with my some of my other friends that are elite coaches, which I'm really excited about. But instead of just doing that group during this fourth quarter, like, anyone that wants to be diamond, let's rise to diamond. There's qualifications that you had to be an emerald. I decided I would start work with 4 tiers of people. So I feel like I covered everyone in my downline, and so they all feel like they mattered. Does that make sense? And I feel like sometimes we neglect the people that we don't think are builders, or the people that don't do anything for us, which is sad, or the people that, you know, are whatever, because they just don't, they aren't, like, they're just not your personality, or they're just not doing it the way that you want to. But we got to remember that everyone came to this team because they wanted to feel part of the community. And that's a big thing for my team, is that I build builders because they're in it for the long haul. I know I have coaches that have been in this business for 5 years that have never sold the challenge pack, you guys. Never. Because they feel part of the community and it's completely changed their life, and they're going to stick around. Then I have coaches that are part of that community and get excited and want to become the builders, and then they stick around. But anyhow, the 4-tier system, I let coaches choose between staying in the team page and using that as a support system, because that's good enough for some people. That probably was 50% of the coaches. Then I had a tier 2 where it was a push to, like a rise to emerald, push to emerald, which it was. I'm not running. I just have the documents listed, videos listed. I answer questions. The only requirement is that they have to post their drill down, like what they did that day, to stay in the group. And I do a lot of personal development for them. I do a lot of confidence building for them. And then the tier 3 group is my Rise to Diamond group, the one that is a little bit more intense. Those are definitely my pushers. And then I have another group called the Unstuck group. And that's coaches that feel stuck, that have been in the business for a long time, and they just want to use it to talk to people and talk to other coaches. But we made it very clear that it's not about complaining. It's not about negativity. It's not about saying, oh my gosh, I can't believe. It's about, hey guys, this is where I'm struggling at. What's working for you? What can we come up with a solution together? So I was very happy with that, because I felt like across the board, I helped the most coaches that I could. And I feel like that builds. Can you stop, please? Okay, in a little bit. I'm almost done. I have like 10 more minutes, okay? It built the community that my team needed. And so to answer your question, I feel like I'm a lot better at building, I'm a lot better at being more confident about the business and talking about what it's done for me and just sharing that, but that wasn't always the case for me. And so I had to build upon community and let them be part of my challenge groups and be part of my team, because then it was like, okay, I want to be part of this type of thing. Do you know what I mean? And I want to pay that forward. I don't even know if I answered your question. I'm sorry.
You did.
In a long roundabout way.
You did. If anyone else has any questions, I'm guessing you can put them in the chat, but I don't have any more over here. I'm going to just change this together so I can see everybody. But, I did want to just thank you for your time. I think that, you know, your story is so relatable, and I think that the fact that you're running a business with a baby, like, you know, basically running on top of you, is really relatable. And hi.
Thank you for watching.
Thank you for watching.
That was like the best ending ever. All right. Awesome.
Earlier was my dog. Now it's her.
I saw your dog
Oh,
earlier.
you want to see my puppy, guys?
Yes.
Come here, Vader. Come here. His name's Vader.
Vader. Vader.
He's Vader. He's a Boston Terrier. No, what? This is a kid. Oh, he can bark. He barks.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he can say ruff ruff, but he can bark.
He can't say rough, but he can bark.
Nice.
He can't talk, guys. He can't talk.
You just should end all your calls with her. It's like a crowd pleaser. You're like,
Oh my gosh. A lot of my team is like, let McConaughey talk. If you follow me on my page, oh wait, don't follow me. I'm not a top 10 coach though. But if you follow me, my page is Insane Fit Kiana. I am like, my live videos are a little bit out of control. I'll just tell you that right now. But I don't care. That's how I build my business. The other day I did a live video. I talked for 10 minutes. There's no sound. I was like, this video really sucks. Like no one's saying anything. And I'm like talking like this. And I'm just like, and finally someone's like, there's no sound. And I'm like, oh, okay, deleted. I was like, that was a waste. Anyhow. I don't know anything about technology. I didn't even know how to do a Google document until like a year ago. Joan's like telling me that she was like social media expert where she comes from. I'm like, social media what? Like, are you kidding me? So I am living proof that you don't have to have any business background, but I love how you can have this awesome business background and just make it happen too.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
No.
I think
really.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
For the time. I know it's like a time change for us and you guys, and I really appreciate it. And I'm gonna go ahead and post the recording on YouTube and the team page. I'll send it to you too. And yeah, thank you.
And you guys, don't be strangers. Like, it's so funny. Like, people will write me a message and they'll be like, oh my God, you responded. Like, I'm a real person. Like, I don't have, contrary to people believe, I don't have 75 messages in my inbox. I know you're so busy.
But it's because everybody's chasing you down to get your challenge
every day. No, that doesn't happen. I, in fact, had to invite, oh, she's singing you a song. Okay. Of course, there's days where I'm busy and it's like, I won't get your message right away. But like your messages really fuel me. Like I honestly, like, I don't know. It's so amazing that people think that they can relate to me because I feel like I'm such a hot mess. Oh my gosh, and it makes me really humbled when people say, that video that you posted, I just can't even believe that you posted that video. That's my life. And so don't be a stranger. Like I'm an open book. I'd be willing to answer any questions you have. I may not get back to you right away, but I will usually get back to you. And thanks so much for listening to me. I sometimes think 5 years, and I'll be 5 years into the business next month, that I still can't believe this has happened. Like, it's just crazy to me. So.
Thank you. It's so amazing. Thank you so much. And guys, yeah, take her up on that. If you have a question and you want to shout out to her, go ahead. You just opened Pandora's box for this one over here. So sorry, you'll be hearing
Pandora's box.
I'm Joan's friend. I'm a hot mess.
All right. Love you guys. Thank you everybody for being
Thanks guys for being on. Have a great night.
Appreciate
Bye-bye.
it. Bye.